Everybody wants to be wealthy. Do you really want to be wealthy, or do you just want that illusion of wealth as we see different markets go up while the value of the dollar goes down? This is called phantom wealth, and that's what we're going to talk about today because it's critical that you understand this. Never a borrower nor a lender be, and don't forget, stay out of debt. Listen and take this good advice from me. Protect your solvency. And there's just one more thing you need to do. Buy gold and silver too. Every single person on this planet needs a foundation in sound money because that's what's going to protect you from all of this. And also, we're going to see as time goes by who's going to survive this mess. And guess what? If you're holding your purchasing power intact, you're going to be able to take advantage of what still yet lies in our future. But don't be fooled by the hype because they don't want you to look at physical gold and physical silver. Once you own it, you hold it, you own it outright, no counterparty risk. All this other stuff, completely counterparty risk. So you can look short term and see one thing, but frankly, over time and history, you can see more of the truth. Now, is this really reflecting even above 2,800? Is that reflecting gold's true value? No, it does not reflect gold's true fundamental value. That is a trading market. And hey, if you're a trader, rock and roll hoochie coo, I can't tell you what to do. Well, I don't think this man knows history. I don't think this man understands currency life cycles. And frankly, that's what I find from most people. And we can see these cup formations that I've talked about. And once it broke out, you can also see how they manipulated the price down. But it really doesn't matter. Once that breakout occurs, it occurs. Accept it and understand that that is a pattern shift that bears watching and playing into, moving into. This is what we're talking about is sound money, because you'll see these kind of technicals on all sorts of things, but what do we know? We know that the stock markets, the bond markets, the real estate markets are severely overvalued. Can they go up more? Sure. I think we are definitely in a melt up phase. But with the new administration, there's going to be a lot of volatility in these markets. So what I really say is get to safety. What is the safest thing you can do? Sound money. And we have a strategy that's built in layers. Every single person on this planet needs a foundation in sound money. And sound money. Because that's what's going to protect you from all of this and also future. But don't be fooled by the hype because they don't want you to look at physical gold and physical silver. Once you own it, you hold it, you own it outright, no counterparty risk. That at some point, all assets, all instruments move to their fundamental value, which in terms of fiat money, and I don't care what currency it is anywhere in the world, that's zero. But for physical gold and physical silver, in terms of this garbage, which once you see that, you're not really going to want to convert it in unless you're going to execute part of the strategy, the truth will always prevail. And as further proof, just look at what you would have gotten had you been paid in sound money gold, even going back to 1913. You don't want to go that far? Go to 1971. And quite frankly, had you been paid in gold without a raise, you would be earning right now $710,553.06 at the current spot if you owned that, if you were paid the same amount of gold. And what if you were paid the same amount of silver? You'd be at $223.64.52. I rest my case.
About the failure of the dollar.
I'm Lynette, student, a banker, and a stockbroker. After all, the dollar's been around since you were born. In fact, that according to the Federal Reserve, there's only 3 cents of purchasing power left in the U.S. dollar. The FDIC only has a little more than 1 penny in reserve for every insured dollar in the FDIC insured banks. The money of the U.S. began to transition in 1813. Governments and corporations had 2 key goals. Number 1, governments wanted to be able to tax the public invisibly and without legislation. And number 2, corporations wanted to pay employees less, but they had to do it invisibly. Building inflation into the currency accomplishes both those goals. 1/20th of an ounce of gold coin, which is about half the size of my pinky fingernail, or this 1 ounce silver, or a dollar bill. All of them at that time would buy 11 loaves of bread. Either be dollar, maybe it buys a quarter of a loaf. The silver dollar still buys you 11 loaves of bread. The $1 gold coin buys you, the last time I checked, about 135 loaves of bread.
Everybody wants to be wealthy. Do you really want to be wealthy? Or do you just want that illusion of wealth as we see different markets go up while the value of the dollar goes down? This is called phantom wealth. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because it's critical that you understand this. First, I'm going to go to the millennials. Millennial wealth in the U.S. has nearly quadrupled since 2019. What happened in 2020? A ton of printing. In fact, I can use both of these hands at once. A ton of printing, which pushed those paper assets up, and those assets that were targeted for reflation. Let's hope that those millennials aren't trying to buy their first house, but jumped 44%. And that is largely driven by real estate gains. So those gains since 2019, largely driven by real estate gains. The median wealth of these younger people more than quadrupled during this 3-year period. Then, in theory anyway, you feel richer, and therefore you are more likely to take on more debt and spend more money. Then the central banks were in charge of regulating the rate and speed of inflation, and therefore helping you feel more wealthy, as the devaluation of the currency added to gains, paper gains at any rate.
This holds your purchasing power. This destroys your purchasing power. This is in your control. This is in their control. Which would you rather have? This is your fairy gold mother, and I want to show you the difference between real money and fake money. Let's start with a dollar bill. This was created to mimic this. Can you see how tiny it is? But today, you can buy 3 cents. Well, guess how much this is if you want to buy it today? It's $460. This is fake money that was created to mimic this. This is a $5 gold coin. And guess what? If you wanted to buy that today, it's $719. This is a $10 bill. It's actually legal tender. In other words, you can take this to the store and use it. It was created to mimic this. And today's retail price is $1,369. And how about this one? You can take this to the store. I'm not sure you can buy that much with it. You certainly can't buy this $20 gold piece. If you were buying this one today, it'd be $2,694. This holds your purchasing power. This destroys your purchasing power. This is in your control. This is in their control. Which would you rather have?